As I thought about today and I thought about the impact that Brother King had, it made me think about my life before Alpha, how I got interested in Alpha. And I remember a conversation with my uncle, who's also a member of Alpha, member of Theta Phi. And the conversation lasted all of about 5 minutes. And there was two things that he told me. One was, do your research. The second was, don't pledge Q and don't pledge Kappa. And that was the end of that conversation. All right, so I took that advice, ran with it, went to the computer, Googled Alpha Phi Alpha, went to the website. Of course, the first thing I look at is the history. You see the legacy. You see the founding of this organization. When you read about it, you can't help but be inspired when you think about the work that our jewels put in, the environment that they had to persevere through to start what we know today as Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. But then, of course, it doesn't stop there. You know, you got to go to the notable members. So going through that list, you'll see names like Thurgood Marshall. You'll see names like Mark Morial. And of course, you'll see Brother Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And when I looked at that list, I wanted to be those men. I said, if this fraternity produces men like this, I don't have to look at any other organization. So from there, I knew Alpha chose me at that point. That's the impact that I wanted to have. And so in thinking about Dr. King's memory, I think about two words. I think about impact and I think about leadership. So when I thought about what am I going to speak on, I said, all I can do is challenge these brothers. They don't need motivation. They don't need inspiration. They need to be challenged. So I want to challenge you in 3 specific areas, right? The first that I want you to think about is family and that role that you play, that leadership role and your ability to impact a member or members of your family. The next one I want you to think about is faith. When you think about faith, there's 2 aspects of faith that I want you to think about. There's a spiritual component and there's the belief in self component. I'm gonna start with the belief in self. Go after those big goals. Because we know as alpha men, nothing is impossible for the mentally strong black man. So go get that. That second piece of faith that I want you to think about is the spiritual. And rededicate yourself spiritually. Reconnecting with God, listening to his voice, and not just being a hearer, but a doer of the word. All right, this last area, this is a big one. They're all big, but this is one that's really big too, is fraternity. Right? It's great to have events like this, but we can definitely stay connected and push each other outside of Theta Phi events. What I want you to do now, you have that all typed in your phone. I have the challenge, but challenge is nothing without accountability. So that brother's name that you typed in your phone, I want you to copy and paste everything you typed and send it to that brother right now. Because now you're gonna have somebody to push you, to hold you accountable to doing these things that you said you would do. These goals are not aspirational. And it's gonna start today. So I want you to text that brother everything that you wrote. And if you're the brother receiving that text, I want you to commit to pushing that brother this whole year. Don't let them let up. And of course, I want to just end with saying one more thing. 119! I said I said O-T-A-T-T-A. I said we cold. And we cocky.
So the biggest takeaways from the speech that I heard from Brother Fred Johnson today, as he mentioned, were family, faith, and fraternity. And I'm a man of faith, so that's always important to me because I'm also a father. And one of the challenges he gave us in that particular part of his address was to focus on what we can do to recommit ourselves to family.
I'm inspired by that speech to really just contact my cousins, my mother. She always tells me I don't reach out to her enough. I definitely want to reach out to her.
Definitely some of my biggest takeaways from Fred's keynote was recommitting to family and faith. I think we all, as we get further in our careers and our daily lives, have a tendency to fall out of a work-life balance, right? So taking the time and having that concrete reminder of being critical and intentional about how we're going to use our time in 2022 and where we're going to allocate that energy was really important. So I'm glad I got that message, especially so early in the year.
So I would certainly recommend that other organizations bring Brother Johnson in as a speaker. He's a very dynamic speaker. I've witnessed him from the early stages of his career till now. I've seen the growth. I know that he has a lot to offer in every aspect that he brings to the table. And so I think that every organization would benefit from having that brother there to inspire, reconnect, and allow people to recommit to whatever their mission may be.